have access? Mine keeps saying there's no internet. Well, that's the important one. I'm not as concerned about my stuff. Everything I've got is pre-downloaded.
Okay, we call the meeting to order. We call the roll.
Mr. Singleton,
Present.
Mr. Nesbitt,
Present.
and
Hatcher.
Mr. Hatchard,
Present.
Mr. Jackson, present, got a quorum.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda, approval of the minutes from September. Anybody got any questions on that minutes from September? Hearing none. Motion to approve.
I make the motion to approve.
Second,
It's been moved by Mr. Nesbitt, second by Mr. Jackson. Roll call.
Mr. Hatchard,
Yes.
Mr. Nesbitt,
Yes.
Mr. Singleton,
Yes.
Mr. Jackson, yes. Motion passed.
Next item on the agenda is the finance update from Hungerford Ryan.
All right. Good evening, everyone. All right. So, since this is Since this is the last financial statement before year end, right? We're on September 30 for this month. We'll go through everything. We've got total bank accounts, $623,479.79. If you're comparing this to where you were at last year at this time, that is down $77,000. So compared to last year, down. Compared to last month, it has improved a little bit in terms of the amount that cash has went down. So that can be kind of confusing, but so to explain a little bit, cash is down $60,000 from August, whereas in August it was down like twice that. So improvement, but still not ideal, right? We'd like to see cash go up rather than cash go down month over month. Due from Fed, or federal sources, that is $411,723.50. If you're comparing that to last year, the balance last year, that is down $219,000. So that's good. So when your due from Fed goes down, that means you're getting money from the Fed. The Fed's paying you, and that's what you want. Due from state, that is $222,713.87. For those who are following along, we are on page 3. That is also down compared to last year, and that is down $166,000. And again, that's what you want. You'd rather have the state actually pay you than to have just an accounts receivable. Although it is an asset, but cash is better. Those are the three main assets that we like to look at every month. We'll touch on fixed assets just a little. Net fixed assets was $1,627,489.55, and we are on page 4. When compared with the prior year, your net fixed assets is down. Oh shoot! Yeah, sorry. I'll just scroll along. Let's get down to page 4 here. Oop, went too far. There we go. So, net fixed assets is down $476,000 when compared with the prior year, and that is mainly due to. Oh, okay. That is mainly due to revenue vehicles went up $136,000, but Also, accumulated depreciation, which is just where depreciation expense kind of just rolls into every month, went up $400,000 compared with the prior year. So that's kind of explains the differences in the fixed assets. Moving along, still on page 4, if you look at accounts payable, which is right here, we are at $93,170.43. That is down $200,000 compared with the prior year. And you're going, okay, well, that's a pretty big decrease. What was in payables last year? There were 2 vans sitting in payables at the end of the year, last year. So that's the main decrease there from the prior year compared to this year in terms of your payables. Looking down here at accrued payroll, this was $83,480.14, and your accrued payroll, that was increased $17,000 compared with the prior year. And that mainly comes down to timing. So your accrued payroll always represents the wages that were earned but not paid until October. So at the end of September, there's always some wages that were earned but don't get paid until October. And that's what that 83,000 represents. And it all shakes down to timing. Moving along, talking about, let's see, long-term liabilities, which is this section right here. The only thing I really want to hit on right now is this is adjusted for the new accounting standard. GASB 101 is the new accounting standard, and it required the amount of accrued sick time and accrued vacation payable to go up a little bit. Under the old standard, typically what ended up happening was you didn't have to recognize a liability if you didn't expect to pay out sick time. And it all shakes down to how policies are written and all of that stuff. But under the new standard, there is a portion where instead of just recognizing what you pay in sick time, you have to start recognizing a portion of what you expect to use, or what you expect your employees to use, and recognize that in this long-term liability accrued sick. So that's the main, that's kind of GASB 101 in a nutshell. There are some nuances, but that's kind of like the high level of it. And that's all I wanted to touch on with that. And moving along to page 6. Now we can talk about the P&L. So we spent some time talking about the balance sheet. Now we can talk about the profits and the losses. So operating revenues were $182,366.67. If you're comparing that to last year, that is down $6,000 with the prior year. Local contributions were roughly $171,000, and this consists of the tax levy that we get from the city. This is page 6. That's up $7,000. And now let's move along to our next source of revenue. That's state operating grants. So this is the stuff we get from the state of Michigan. That was $1,216,964.31. If you're comparing that with the prior year, that is down $209,000. Your federal operating grants is the next line that we'll talk about. That was $1,433,043.70. If you're comparing that with the prior year, that is down $1.2 million. And that's all in the capital grant side of things.
That what is down indicated in this report on the paper, is it? Because I heard you mention a number that wasn't there. You said it was down from last year?
The federal operating grant, the 1.4, yes, it is down.
Everyone, all the ones that you mentioned what they were down from the prior year, and I don't see that recorded anywhere.
Right, well, I mean, we can offer, like, if you wanted to see that figure in this report, it's something that can probably be added to it, but this report reflects just
I don't want to see it, I just heard you saying it.
Yeah, okay,
You're
no.
not missing it. You're not.
Yeah,
missing
no,
it.
you're not, yeah, it's,
You've written it down from last fiscal year.
mhm.
Yeah.
It's just to offer a comparison to where you were at this last year compared to where you were at now. But yes, the numbers aren't there because this report is strictly for current year activity. And then I'm just offering the comparison based off of the number that I went in and I looked at ahead of time. So yes, sorry if that was a point of confusion. So all of those decreases and increases added together kind of arrive us to our total income of $3,137,309. And 22 cents, yes. That is down 1.3 million overall, and that is mainly due to those decreases in the state of Michigan operating grants and the federal operating grants. And that is almost all from, also, there's like two sides to that, and that is always the capital grant side that is down. And a lot of that had to do with, I know last year you guys bought a lot of buses and things, and that would have all come from capital grant funding. So that was the income side of things. Now we can start to look at the expenses. Your guys' labor costs were $1,727,936.65. Comparing that to the prior year, that is up $47,000. We make up for that increased cost in benefit savings. Benefits for the year were $259,675.71. That is down $53,000 with the prior year. So right, labor went up, but we saved some money on benefits. So overall, your labor and your benefits, you saw a decrease of $6,000. So that's nice. Repairs and maintenance, that was roughly $192,000. It's this figure here. That one, no real good news there. That one's up $98,000 with the prior year. But, I mean, there was a lot of good repairs that we saw done in fiscal year 2025 to the fleet. So that's a positive there. Bus insurance, everyone's favorite topic. $267,588.86. This is up significantly with the prior year. Bus insurance, as we've talked about in our past meetings, went way up. That went up $193,000 when compared with the prior year. Professional fees in total is the next thing we'll talk about. Scrolling down here, here is the total. That is $349,792.97. Nothing like overly exciting here. It's down overall compared with the prior year. It's down $36,000. Mainly in legal fees. We saved about $24,000 in legal fees if you were looking at this year compared to last year.
Down that much in legal fees or up that much?
Down.
Oh,
Yeah, last year you guys had way more legal fees.
cool.
Yeah. Not too much to talk about on the next page here. We'll note audit costs did not increase. So you guys paid the exact same amount in 2025 as you did in 2024 for audit services. So that's nice that you didn't see an increase there. The only couple things left to mention on the expense side of things are the other ineligible expenses. On page 8, that's up quite a bit compared to the prior year. So this is $59,543.
Just making sure.
This is up $59,000 if you were comparing it to the prior year, and that was from there was a Michigan Transit Pool retroactive adjustment, and that was $59,000 roughly there. So that's what caused that spike in that expense category. The last two things to talk about are the loss on disposal of assets. That's roughly $139,000. And that's also down here. Here, let me get to it right here on the screen. It's this one right here. That's up $95,000 with the prior year. And that was just, we had a couple of bus accidents there in fiscal year 2025. And then depreciation expense, the last thing to talk about before we can wrap it up with total expenditures. Depreciation expense, which is this number right here, $433,571.34. That's also up $102,000 with the prior year. Not too surprising, knowing last year you bought a bunch of new buses. So new buses, they get added to the balance sheet, and then they're recognized through the profit and loss and depreciation expense. Yeah. So all of those expenditures add together to get your total expenses, which are up $145,000 compared with the prior year. And that's just from all the mixture of the things we're talking about with the increases. Net income, or in this case, a net loss, is $630,412.57. So that is the net loss for the year. Not great, but something to note is that if we could get, so if we looked at just the due from Fed and the due from state, and then we backed out what is due to federal and state, so we recognize them separately. So if you looked at just the stuff you're expecting to get from the federal and the state on your balance sheet that's sitting in receivables versus what you have to pay them, which is sitting in your payables, if all those things, if all those things were settled, we could have an additional $375,000. So it would be nice to see those things kind of like, I don't know what's keeping them. I don't know what's keeping them from paying those things. So it's kind of like, I don't understand why they can't get paid a little faster. That's just a little tidbit at the end there, but thank you.
So have we received any payments since the government has been shut down?
You should be receiving federal still. I know that with MDOT, they're doing a bunch of year-end stuff, and they did let everyone know through that OTP weekly that October, you weren't going to get anything from the MDOT side of things. So come November, we should be getting 2 payments from MDOT, which is nice. It'll be a nice increase to the cash balances in that regard. But I can hop on here real quick to make sure that the federal side of things still came in, but they should be.
Yeah, please take a quick while you're sitting here. Alrighty.
Okay, is there any other questions for the, on the financial report? We'll wait for that question to be answered, Mr. Director. Yeah, okay, yeah.
All right. Sorry about that. Let's talk fairs. It's the next item on the agenda.
Oh, we're waiting,
We're gonna wait for Ryan? Okay,
Yeah, wait for Ryan.
sure.
Yes, we did receive federal funds on
9/5.
The shutdown. The shutdown occurred 10/1.
Okay, then no, we haven't.
Noted.
Right, we did process, so we'll see. Yeah, could we send,
We typically don't, well, typically we'll receive one in a month, sometimes we get
Feds shut down October 1.
So that's, okay, a motion to accept the financial report as presented.
I make the motion to accept the financial report as read.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Nesbitt, second by Mr. Jackson. Roll call.
Mr. Hatchett. Mr. Spencer.
Yes.
Mr. Singleton.
Yes.
Mr. Jackson, yes. Motion carries.
Right. Next item on the agenda is the director's update. We'll turn it over to.
Okay, so I want to just speak a little bit about the fare increase and ridership together because they're related. And one of the things that you'll notice is that we're losing riders. There's a significant drop in ridership from August to September. And it may be temporary, but it costs us. Every drop costs us of ridership. And so you'll see later on, we have some ideas about what we can do to increase ridership, but just want to bring that to your attention because one of the things and that was mentioned before in terms of comparing these numbers in 2025 to 2024, the 2024, and Ryan, Tressa, correct me if I'm wrong, but even with the increase, we're just barely hitting the numbers in fare box intake that we did in 2024. And that's with the increase. So,
That's with the increase.
right, so there's some structural issues that probably need to be addressed.
There any particular reasons why the ridership might have dropped? Just is that?
Well,
Find out that it's still cheaper because I'm sure the friend probably want a little more money. Okay, we continue with the report.
September fuel report. One thing you see that the price or the amount that we spent is going down, and you think, okay, well, is that related to ridership going down as well? But in this case, it might,
Electric bus.
yeah, it might. Well, I think it's more with the price of fuel itself. is going down, and so that's what's being reflected there.
Yeah, we would also.
And one thing we don't do, to my knowledge, is we don't really separate out what our increased electric costs are for charging our EVs. So that should probably be included in this as well, because
A little.
All right, we can continue with the,
yeah, so continuing, issue still is seatbelt compliance. We're not there yet. We have a policy of fastening seatbelts in exposed seats, and those passengers who don't want to comply with that have the option of sitting behind an unexposed seat, which is just a seat with a seat in front of it. So it's not a major imposition to ask passengers to do that, but still our compliance isn't where we'd like it to be. And we've noticed that by the cameras in the internal of the bus. We're seeing that we have many passengers that aren't.
Any reports from the bus drivers that there's a resistance? Or just people not paying attention to compliance?
I'd say it's a combination. It's a combination.
Is that the 10th or the 11th?
The 11th, sorry, Veterans Day, the 11th.
Yeah, so there will be a safety in service on the 11th. And so those things will be addressed along with other safety issues and maybe some workplace issues as well. BHS Blue Route, we are working to have a stop established on the circle. The stop would be right outside of the library. There'll be a sign and painting designation in the circle about the stop. The sign will contain a QR code and also a number. People will be able to call and request a pickup at the high school. So. East side stair repairs are in progress. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at the stairs, but if you do, you'll see that they are in progress, and we have local contractors that are working on it, so.
I had, I looked at it 2 days in a row, and I looked at it today, and it's coming on real well. I'm kind of impressed with what he had to do. One of the concrete trucks was trying to pour dry concrete. You can't do that. So the contractor stopped him. They had a little issue, but it got straightened out. So the next guy that came in, he poured good concrete. So like I said, I'm satisfied with what's going on with it. It should be completed shortly. You're getting ready to do the base and the steps, and then that would be the end of the road right there, and just let it cure,
Thank you. All right, with respect to RFPs, as we mentioned before, we suspended the building siding RFP because it would require building panels to be removed during the winter, and so we'll just table that for the spring. Mobility operations, we had 7 responses, of which 6 were considered high quality, and we've reviewed those, and we'll be discussing those with you individually so that you can know where we are in that process. But we do expect to have a vendor that we can begin contract negotiations with sometime potentially, I think the date is what, November 17th, November 7th. So I think that's next, right, it's next week. That's next week, yeah. So we'll be in contact with each of you about that, so you know where we are there. We did get a lot of assistance from TransPro Consultants. We paid them, and they delivered. We were very pleased with the depth and breadth of the responses to our RFP. This is a valuable community. The urbanized area extends from here all the way south to New Buffalo, and we all know what's on the other side of Lake Michigan. And so people know that too. And so they understand the value that southwestern Michigan has, and it was reflected in the quality and in the interest of the mobility operations proposals. Touched on it. We're really going to try to adhere to the schedule that was published in the RFP. So I believe the next major date is November 7th. And so that's when we expect to be able to name the mobility service provider and go for it. But as I mentioned, we'll be in contact with you prior to that, so you'll know what's going on there. Press moratorium, so we're not going to discuss this with the press, the internals of what we're doing with the press, until we actually have decided on who is going to be the vendor. We did have a collision on October 14th that was occurred on Miami Road. It was actually the result of another driver actually turning into our vehicle. I mentioned this previously. Here we go again with no-fault insurance being a problem because we were not at fault in any way, yet here we are. So we're addressing that, and one of the things that does, it's kind of like that rain cloud, was it that Slippery Rock, the commercial where the cartoon where the guy had the rain cloud? Yeah. So in some respects, that's kind of how we feel, because these things aren't our fault, right? But yet they have implications, and so we just kind of have to work through that. And so even with what happened on Miami on October 14th, those passengers who were on that vehicle, if they don't have any insurance, if they don't have health insurance, or they don't have vehicle insurance, they're our responsibility. We're going to be liable for them. And the lady just turned into our bus. Just like in the other accident, we got this runs a signal, yet we had this big bill.
And this was also.
But yeah, so that's what we're saying is part of being in the transit business in Michigan, right? That's just part of being in the transit business in
I
Michigan.
wondered with the new
They're going to be subject to Michigan no-fault laws as well.
Okay, any other questions on the director's report?
Yes, I have one. We were talking about the the people not, we not have picking up as many people now. Well, does that affect, have that ever took effect on how many hours our buses are on the streets, or have we decreased the number of buses for that, which I think would help on our expense or anything, gas and electric buses? Have we done anything with that yet?
So I don't know that we've been able to adjust our schedule to reflect decreased ridership because it's unpredictable. We really kind of respond to demand. One of the things that we have done is we've allowed drivers to go home on days when the traffic is light, when demand is light, but we haven't done any schedule adjustments that I'm aware of beyond just that. But one of the things but they'll have greater data fidelity, right? Because right now we're like secondhand data where we have a PC Trans, a vendor who's taking it, and then we dump it into us, and then but the way they operate is that most of the interactions that people have and passengers have will be with an app, right? And when the app, it's going straight to them. Right, so they know what's going on. They know where you were picked up. They know when you were dropped off. They know how much time it took. All those things, and they don't have to ask anybody else because it's right there on the app, and they've collected it.
It also means
Okay, any more questions on the director's report? Hearing none, motion to accept the director's report as presented.
I make the motion to accept the financial report, the business report.
It's been moved by Mr. Nesbitt, seconded by Mr. Hatchett. Roll call.
Mr. Hatchett? Yes. Mr. Spencer?
Yes.
Mr. Singleton?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson, yes. Motion carried.
Next item, old business, automatic garage doors. Any information on that?
So as a old business, last couple meetings, we've discussed this. We have 3 quotes. We're going to move forward on quote. And so hopefully in the November meeting, we'll show you pictures or just tell you open the windows and you can see our doors. But what's going to happen with the doors is that there'll be sensors so that when the buses come up, the doors will automatically open, go out, because we're losing so much heat. I mean, you can, like today, it was kind of cool in the morning and the door is wide open. So we just are losing heat, and we're going to kind of stop that. And then the other issue that the doors present, particularly in the summer, and even in the fall, it's security. It's a security issue. You know, we've had people ride scooters through there, right? Just scooter, just yeah, exactly. And we have folks at the gas stations that, you know, always kind of like loitering around, just kind of seeing what's going on. And so we just want to make sure that when they see what's going on, they're going to see what's going on with a closed door. Yeah. We are in ongoing discussions with Berrien County about some type of collaborative effort. They have some challenges with Berrien Bus, as you know. And so they're looking for some collaboration. And so we're looking to see what we can do there.
All right, next item, new business.
We discussed it somewhat, but we're monitoring the situation with the government shutdown to see what impact it will have on us. It will have an impact on us. It's just unclear what it will be. But if it doesn't get resolved soon, there will be some blowback. So, and just to provide a little more background even on the Berrien Bus situation, one of the challenges that Berrien Bus faces is that they had a number of contracts that were not renewed. These were contracts to carry folks for rehabilitation or job training or other kinds of programs that the government cut. So now Berrien Bus is feeling the ramifications of what do we call this? I don't want to call it. Yeah.
Just call his name out. No, kidding.
So you can see it's affecting everyone, and so hopefully it'll be resolved soon. We discussed ridership. Tressa, did you have some ideas that you wanted to share about that?
Well, so this
Well, I think that the flex stop at the high school might be helpful because people will see how convenient it is, right? And so we are going to, in our discussions with the schools, just going to discuss unruly student behavior, right? Because the kids, we don't want the kids harassing our drivers.
I think jumping off.
So we have just, and it resulted from an inquiry, but we haven't been able to locate a weapons policy. I mean, so if someone, a weapons policy, so as it stands, I don't know if we have a form, so you could come on the bus with whatever. Yeah, anything that's not against the law, right? I guess.
Well, so that is important. There are some things, I only printed out a couple because I printed them out a little last minute. There are some things, especially when it comes to firearms, that are very specifically outlined legally. Right, like for example, in 750.227D, you are required to have your firearm be in an enclosed case, carried in the trunk of a vehicle, which, there is no trunk in a bus, so you're not allowed to carry it on a bus. And these are, Michigan laws that we're looking at. But beyond that, what do we tell people and what do we have as a formal policy? We've been looking at some of our neighbors. So our little list here, you can see that Ann Arbor's policy, very simple, no weapons of any kind. Kalamazoo's policy, no weapons of any kind or possession of hazardous material unless in possession of a permit to do so or otherwise permitted by law. So these are just kind of the first two that I looked at, honestly, because they have the resources to really know what the regulations are and what they can get away with. But we're going to explore this a little bit more over the next month so that we can put a formal weapons policy that we can then share with the public up for approval for all of you.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about how much enforcement you could do with these guys. If it's already done, because the law already.
Well, it's not as much on the enforcement side, like you're saying, but it's just being, so that, because they're like, well, nobody told me, I didn't
A lot of
know.
that. There was no sign that said I couldn't.
Yeah, there was, yeah.
And well, I mean, that's true. The state told them they couldn't with certain things, but not with other things. I think we had someone who tried to come on the bus with a loose machete the other day. We told him kindly that he could not do that. But so really, those are the things that we're worried about. I think, the people who have permits to carry weapons, they tend to really know the rules, and they tend to not break those rules. It's the other folks that we want to be able to confidently say, no, you cannot bring that here. You're going to have to find a different mode of transportation.
I think for liability purposes also, it probably
Yes.
best interest to have one.
Yes.
And then if a person violates it, it's.
It's a violation of our policy.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yep.
so you covering your butt, yeah.
Yep. Better to have a policy than nothing at all in this case.
Does all the buses have that sign on it, say no weapons allowed?
Not
They
right
sure
now.
will.
We don't have
We
any,
were talking about that today too. They sure
we don't have
will.
any signs right now. So you can, I might be the last day.
Okay.
Okay, so once you develop that, you'll be bringing that back to the, okay.
Yes, we'll bring that back.
Bring it back. All right.
All right, that's, next is public comments.
My name is Velma Kilgore. Hello, my name is Velma Kilgore. I was terminated by Dollar Ride 2 weeks ago. I had been off since August the 5th. I had applied in 2023. I didn't pass the drug test, so they said I had to wait a year and come back. I tried to come back in 24. They told me I had to take a drug class in order to come back. I took it, I passed. They hired me February the 5th. The feds came in July, so they let me go in August the 5th of 2025. They said I had to take a SAP class. That was $500. They said they don't pay for drug classes. I said, okay. So I was trying to get the money up. I finally got it up. I had to use my own money because by October the 20th, my CDLs would have been suspended. So I used my own money. I paid $500 for the class, $70 to take a class online. So when I passed everything, I could have waited Monday. I said, nope, I need the money. Came Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Saturday, I got into it with a passenger. And I know I was wrong. The things I said, I already know. But my thing is, Dollar Ride is like a second chance place, And I worked for them for 6.5 years, and I retired in 2018. When I had a talk with Tressa and Nick, it was brought up about an argument I had with a dispatcher 10 years ago. And a couple of months ago, one of the dispatchers yelled at me over the mic, so when I came in, you know, I said, I don't appreciate that. She went to hollering and screaming, I walked away. But we got a dispatcher in there that's a pathological liar. She done added on some things. When I talked to Nick and Tressa, Nick said, yeah, I heard you say you hated this place. You ain't never want to work here. You don't want to be here. I done paid almost $600 to come back here. I needed this job, and I know I was wrong, but how come I can't get a second chance? There's people work there that get a second chance. I know I was wrong, but I'm just asking, can I get my job back? You know, that would never happen again. That was something I worked no problem, 6.5 years I worked here. So I'm just saying, is there any way that I can get my job back? I know I made a mistake. People make mistakes. I'm human. And I'm, you know, going through some things, you know, with stress and trying to keep my CDLs from being suspended. Okay, I made a mistake. How come I mean, I know I should be penalized for a reprimand. Suspend me, do something, but let me come back to work. So I'm asking, can y'all help me get my job back?
Okay, well, since that's a personnel issue, we don't discuss those in the, open, public, but that's, something that, the, administration will, I'm sure, you know, look at some and, you know, we'll go with their, you know, recommendations. So it's something that we can't discuss in public, personnel issues. But,
I can meet y'all in private and talk about it. You know, I just, you know, I need my job back. I made a mistake. There's a lot of people at Dollar Ride that made mistakes and, you know, they got a second chance. Why not me?
was you, union too? Were you union?
Union?
Yeah. Sure,
I had, today they told me that I had the feds came in and said I need to take the SAP class. That was the day I had got my 6 months in. I started February the 5th, and they gave me my paper August the 5th.
Okay, well, thank you for, you know, coming up and saying something, and hopefully, you know, things work out for you, but that's all we can say right now. So, okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right,
Oh, we've got one more public comment.
oh, that's it.
One more?
Please.
Hi, my name is Aaron Sternman. I work for the Center for Growth and Independence for the Old Gateway. I'm a co-worker of Spencer's, and he invited me down here to talk. That was powerful, actually. She's lost her job on my 50th birthday.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So I'm just here to, because we're always looking for public partners. And as you can imagine, a lot of our clients ride your bus. 1 in 4, actually, adults is living with a disability. I don't know if everyone's aware of that. Some of those disabilities are what I call invisible. So if any of you have a chance to sit down and talk with me after the meeting, I'd like that very much. Yeah, we're looking for public partners. We want to strengthen the relationship between our company and the public sector and the private sector. So, yeah, just here to introduce myself. I run the supported employment department at the center, and so our job in particular is to help disabled adults find work in the community.
Okay.
So they can't do that without transportation. So, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, any other public comments? Okay. At this time, we have a closed session. And the closed session is interim director's contract, interim director Todd Shern's contract, and the closed session is a request from the director. At this time, we're going to have everybody to leave, or do we want to go somewhere else for it?
You can talk outside during the closed session if you want to, or you can just email me.
Okay, Tressa.
Yeah.
I was looking for my card in the car.
all good.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. You can hang out outside if you want to, or you can head home.
Yeah, I
It's up to
will.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah. I don't know. You can. Skedaddle. Get gone. Get gone.
Let's adjourn to, a motion to adjourn into closed session.
Make a motion to adjourn into closed session?
Okay, it's been moved by Mr. Hatchett, second by Mr. Nesbit. Roll call.
Mr. Hatchett,
Yes.
Mr. Nesbit,
Yes.
Mr. Singleton,
Yes.
Mr. Jackson, yes. Motion carries.
We'll now adjourn from regular meeting.